Whatever it is. Hello and welcome
Sir.
to podcast number 6. I thought it was 7 this week.
I have no fucking idea.
We'll find out after this. Hello, I'm Kieran. This is Rob.
Azad.
And you are watching Decipher Podcast 6 or 7.
Something like that, yeah.
So today's podcast, we're going to be discussing our thoughts on All Hope Is Gone by Slipknot. We are going to be giving you our personal fantasy bands. So the rules for that, as mentioned beforehand, are one member per band. So the example I use, you can't use the same member that have been in a band together. So you can't even cheat and go, I want Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath and I want Dio from Heaven and Hell, because they've technically been in the same band as Black Sabbath.
Why not? Sorry.
There you go.
Our lighting is just so shit in here that it's painful.
Can't see Rob's face.
I'm going to scooch in, man.
Oh, get close. It's cosy on Deciphered. My mother watches this. Right, so, yeah, we'll read out your stuff as well. But starting off, first of all, the news. The news is quite quiet again.
It's basically non-existent, yeah. So there was Cliff Burton Day.
Yes, that's been announced by the governor or councillors of Castro Valley, California, that he will have his birthday, which is the 10th of February.
That is also his hometown, for anybody that doesn't know.
Yeah, that does help. Yeah, his birthday is the 10th of February.
Sorry.
And
difficulty.
Oh goodness,
I know, it's so bad. It seems worse today than it ever has done
fuzzy. Let's
before.
give it a camera a little wipe.
Hey, that's marginally better.
Yeah. So yeah, Castro Valley announced that Cliff Burton Day will be the 10th of February every year for Castro Valley, California. His birthday being the 10th of February, he would have been 56 this year.
Yep.
And that's that. As mentioned before, he's exactly a year older than my mother.
I mean, that's quite scary when you think about it, really. I know he was young when he died.
I thought you meant my mother.
I mean, no.
Hang on.
Yeah, you're fine. I don't know you. But no, that's. I mean, it's kind of freaky, really. Does that mean that the rest of the band are around that sort of age as well? I know Lars is fucking old, but
Yeah, and Danish. Don't know why that makes any difference to his age, but maybe it's maybe.
and he was an aspiring tennis player.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. The more you know. Educational this thing.
He also couldn't play drums when he auditioned for the band.
Can he still play? Can he play drums now?
I've
A
been
lot of
led
peop-
to believe that he somehow can.
A lot of people don't think so.
I mean, I don't. Lars over it.
So we are gonna kickstart our fantasy band. So we've both got 6 members to our band.
Yes.
So we've got a drummer, a bassist. This is by chance. We didn't choose. Obviously, some of them are going to be obvious, but we've got a drummer, a bassist, a rhythm guitarist, a lead guitarist, a vocalist, and a vocalist. So that is how we're going to go up the ranks. So we'll start off by one. Jake Adams, how's it going?
Assaded.
We'll start off by going up by one.
We're going to do it member by member.
Member by member. You then I then you.
I then you, then you, then I.
So who wants to start?
I need to get a fucking lampshade. Or I'll just hold my hand here. What's that? I will go first, actually, and I think that quite realistically, because we have, I'm sure, the same member and the fact that we are both drummers.
We chose also Dead or Alive, which I'll probably say before this. We didn't know each other's picks apart from this one.
Complete fantasy band. Doesn't matter whether they've been dead for fucking 20 years or 5 minutes. It's basically just whoever the hell we wanted. The only rules, as Kieran said, that applied were that if 2 members that we wanted were in the same band, any band, at any point, yeah, can't pick them.
Unless you like they guested on a song, that's different. So, drummer, fire away.
Well, let's be honest, I'm not as big a Avenged fan as you are, but the Rev, Jimmy Sullivan,
Jimmy Owen fucking Sullivan
is just. He's one of the reasons that I even started drumming, to be fair. I wouldn't say he's like, I wouldn't credit him with like being the main reason that I started drumming, but he's up there, man. Like,
yep.
All it took was for me to listen to Blinded in Chains once, and just that crazy double bass in the middle, and that was me hooked. Like, I'd started learning to play drums a little bit before then, but only with the interest of being in like kind of punky sort of bands, like really fast paced drumming. That's what I had fun with. It was only when I heard Avenged for the first time with the super cranked up like bass sound effects and stuff that it was.
That double ride thing he does, that's literally what he's called
yeah.
it, the double ride thing, which is like, it's fucking insane.
Always. So, yeah. So I picked the Rev as my drummer.
Yep, so obviously I did as well for the same reasons. Quality drummer. Also, he can provide vocals, and he's a fucking bass singer. And
Fuck, it is.
songwriting too, just as good.
Shout out to Burn the Shitness. Okay, so just quickly, for anybody that doesn't know, Jake Adams and I were in a band a very long time ago. If
Called
you can,
Burn the Shitness?
called Burn the Witness.
Okay.
But we were shite.
Right, okay. Excellent.
I'm not sure if you've ever met Mather Busby before.
Never even heard the name.
No. Well, he was a good lad, actually, to be fair. I wonder what he's doing nowadays. But yeah, back then he was kind of a bit of a loose cannon. And he was our vocalist / guitarist. Lewis Friend. You ever met Lewis
I
Friend?
know the name, but I don't think I met him.
He was a guitarist in our band for a while.
Did he hang around the city back in the day?
Yeah,
Okay, I think I
yeah.
remember.
And then we got a guy called Tom Forkus. Tom, fork yourself.
Not such a cool guy then.
Well, he wasn't at the time. He's probably fine nowadays. He's probably sound as fuck now. But yeah, back then,
And you were
none
drummer?
of us. Yeah, I was drumming.
What was Jake?
Jake was bass.
Okay.
Started off as a bassist. It's fucking weird, bro. You were a bassist, man. What's all that about? So yeah, that was Burn the Shitness.
Right, little side story for you there.
Yeah, we played a handful of gigs. We recorded one EP that sounded like shit, that Dobbs wasn't even there to record for because he was skiing in Austria. Fuck you. So yeah, that's my little tangent for the next 5 minutes. I'm sure I'll think of another one. This light is just fucking me off.
Yeah. So, I'm probably going to point out, I'll finish off with the Rev bit first. So you can also add vocals, which is great, and songwriting capability, which is awesome.
Is it true that he? I know we were.
We can ask some small and brief questions.
That's
Yeah, go ahead.
fine. Is it true that he wrote the majority of Nightmare before he died? Or
A lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Welcome to the Family was entirely written by him, I believe.
Wow.
Save Me, a lot was written by him. Fiction was entirely written by him, obviously. It's like he laid down the vocals for it entirely. And they used the demo track for that. But yeah, cool.
Madness.
Yes. And there's a little side story about So Far Away as well, but we'll get to that in the special that we do.
I'm sure. Yes.
So before we go on to our bassist, anyone that's watching live, if you haven't commented already on our other post, you can comment your fantasy lineup here if you wish to, and we'll shout that out.
Yep, definitely.
My sister is watching. Hello, Sarah.
What's that?
All right. Bassist.
Bassist. Dun, 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 dun. So my bassist is probably one that you will potentially disapprove of.
Really?
But for reasons that are obvious to every man and woman on this fucking planet, he is one of the best bassists in the world. And I don't care what anybody says, whether or not he's metal or anything like that. The fucking Flea, Red Hot Chili Peppers, man.
Okay, I could have seen that.
Flea is an incredible bassist. Just technically amazing. Rhythm is amazing. Even the rest of the band have even said that he has this ability that, like, Anthony Kiedis, the vocalist from Red Hot Chili Peppers, would literally say, "Hey, I've written these lyrics. What do you think?" He'd read them once and he'd be like, "I know what I'm going to do for that."
Okay.
And that's what I like about like a
What
good
was his name
rhythm
was?
section.
Anthony Kiedis.
That's the vocalist.
Oh, okay. What's Flea's name?
Michael Balsary?
Ballsary?
Balsary, something
What's
like
the
that.
name? No wonder you call yourself Flea.
Well, yeah.
What is this Ballsary?
Flea, real name. This is how good we are, guys. We are
On the fly.
literally
On the Flea.
Michael Peter Balsary.
Oh, well done.
So yeah, fuck me. He's 55 years old. Flea. So yeah, I picked the Flea because he's just incredible. And if nothing else, right, when you are asked to play Woodstock at Novak Air Base in America, in New York, and it is boiling hot, you're on a fucking runway, and the sun is just bouncing off of,
Billy, right?
off of the fucking ground that everybody's like stomping on and setting fires to and stuff. It says a lot about a bassist that's willing to come out naked and just jump around with his dick flapping around for about 5 minutes before he even picks up his instrument.
Sounds like my spirit animal.
I mean, he is mine, so
He is a Flea.
he is a Flea.
There you go.
And do you know what? It's like they say in The Emperor's New Groove, isn't it? I'm gonna turn him into a flea. harmless little flea.
You're gonna not. I don't know what you're talking about. I think I may have seen it once. so,
I mean, that would have been a lot more ambiguous if my chair wasn't so creaky.
Is that your flea done?
That is my flea done, yeah.
So, whereas you explained it as a non-metal bassist,
Yep.
My bassist is known as a metal god. My bassist is Lemmy, because it's fucking Lemmy. So his instrumentals obviously are great. You would want Lemmy. So I'll tell you who almost made the cut, but I decided against it. It was Gene Simmons, who I've actually posted on my second one on the comments in the post.
Damn.
But then I just realised Lemmy, I believe, is better and 10 times less of a cunt.
This is true.
So fuck you, Gene. So I went for Lemmy. Yep. Again, I think actually this is by chance again. Pretty much all of my members could actually add vocals. In fact, all of my members could do vocals. They're known for the vocals as well. But so yep, definitely high status. Like, not that I chose them for this reason, but if you wanted a band to succeed, you put Lemmy in it. Right, teach the other members what they need to know. Get on with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I chose Lemmy.
If nothing else, they need to be taught how to drink a fuck ton of whiskey and still put on the best fucking show ever.
Yes, and he could do that every day.
Literally. Like,
Right.
That was basically what he put on his cereal in the mornings, I'm sure. Except he didn't eat cereal, he just ate more whiskey.
Yeah. So,
So-
rhythm guitarist.
Rhythm guitarist. So, interestingly, I've gone for a rhythm guitarist that could also provide some backup vocals. As far as I'm aware, I don't actually know this, so quote me if I'm incorrect. Matt Tuck from Bullet, from My Valentine.
Who was my second choice?
Is he the rhythm guitarist?
Yeah.
He is rhythm. Excellent. So I wasn't actually too sure of that, but I was struggling to think of a decent rhythm guitarist, and I thought, you know what? Matt could at least provide some backup vocals. He is a cunt. He is a bit of an egotistical twat nowadays.
When you didn't come, but at the Bullet show, when he just stood there, and went, just like, you're a fucking prick, like just saying like, oh, give me more cheer.
It's
Don't get me
one
wrong,
of
I
those
love Bullet.
situations where you just wish you could throw an anchor at his face or something.
An anchor?
An anchor. Do you know what? I wanted to go with piano, but let's face it, that's just... if you've got tendonitis or something, that's just impossible. Like, an anchor, get enough people in the crowd that are just as pissed off as you, you can throw that on stage, it'll be fine. Grand piano, not so much.
No.
I think you might struggle to get a grand piano in your bag and sneak it into the gig in the first place. Anchor, probably not so much. So yeah, I mean,
There's logic there.
I chose Matt Tuck just because, despite him being a bit of a dick at times, he's a fantastic musician. And just, yeah, in general, oh god, that made the light worse. How is that even possible? How is that even possible?
Oh, you might be on something.
I might be onto something. Guys, we're so good at what we do.
You're going to bear with us during these times.
You are, because one day, we're going to have our shit together. And you people, you non-believers right now,
Blown!
you non-believers right now are just waiting for this shit to happen. Fuck.
Right, let's just roll with it. Can you lean against the thing?
I'm trying. So yeah, I chose Matt for obvious reasons. Sick.
Better.
What's the lineup so far, guys? So Bill, just to catch you up, my drummer is the Reverend.
As is mine.
Yep, as is Kieran's, naturally. I chose my bassist to be Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
And mine is Lemmy from Motorhead.
Fantastic.
And his rhythm guitarist is what we're talking about now.
Yes, which is Matt Tuck.
From Bullet from Al Valentine.
Bullet for my Valentine. I don't know why he's Scottish. So yeah, that's you know, I was at a bit of a struggle to find a rhythm guitarist, and I sort of settled on him because he can bring the vocals up a little bit. He can provide some writing and stuff. Like, he is a fairly good writer. I don't think he writes all of Bullet's stuff on his own. I'm pretty sure Padge does as well. And I know that Moose used to.
Yeah.
Another testament as to why Matt Tuck is a bit of a dick. But there you have it. That's for another day.
So,
Your
my
rhythm guitarist, sir.
is the mighty James Hetfield of Metallica.
Metallica, Donaldson family.
So again, another person that can add vocals, and just to fucking start shouting Donington, right here, right now, for 10 fucking minutes and waste the space of a song.
And yet,
Download.
still not have a single person say it was a bad idea.
I've had many people say it was a terrible thing, but
Really?
I was fine with it. It was.
I would have been.
He was in the moment. He seemed to enjoy the shit out of it, and that's pretty cool when you see a band of that stature, like.
Still getting hyped over
Yeah.
a gig, like
Yeah, especially
because
that.
you've got to imagine they've done arena tours all over the world. Like they've played to more people than Donington can hold, and
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And yet
and that
that-
day was sold out as well. That was the only
Exactly.
day of the weekend that sold out, I believe.
probably it wouldn't surprise me. I think that's just a testament to them as a band in general. Really, they've still got it. They've still got it.
See, Jake's one of those people. Oh no, don't fuck Metallica, man. We can't have this shit.
Do you know what, Dobbs? You know me. I do agree with you on some senses. Like, I don't listen to their music myself enough. I swear to God, this camera needs to stop fucking making me sick. I don't listen to the band enough at all to really say that I'm like a fan or anything. So in that sense, yeah, me and Dobbs have got something in common there. But you have to appreciate it, bro. You have to appreciate what they've done. There would be so many bands that we've come to love that would not exist without Metallica's influence. It's just the way it is. We are having a lot of technical difficulties this week, folks.
It's a thing, man. Beatdown had their fucking podcast and that got fucked.
Yeah,
They were on for like 20 minutes and they had all their shit cut and the mics wouldn't work and the mics blew or some bullshit.
and they have like a proper like soundboard that they
Yeah,
put all their
Craig
shit
knows
through
his
as
stuff
well.
with laptops and they live stream on YouTube. Check them out, Beatdown Podcast. There you go, that's the plug. So yeah, James Hetfield, just incredible guitarist. He can always, if live, he'll always move a crowd. Not that you really need him to with Lemmy around, he can do that as well. My vocalist probably not as much, we'll get to that in a second. Like, they're still frontmen of bands, but
Don't hold the same kind of prestige, no?
not because they're smaller bands, but also they're not as Metallica can own a crowd. James Hetfield can own a crowd, right? These guys can too with their music, but not as much with this speaking to people and things. They don't have much presence. But so yeah, incredible, and that's that.
Yeah, awesome. I saw him.
You're-
I'm thinking Craig might have had a point. Was it Craig that said about the curtain?
It was about curtain, yeah.
Yeah, I think he might have a point because it's virtually every time that fucking thing moves. We will
Yeah.
get set up in a better place eventually, guys. It's just right now we're making the best of what we've got.
We're gonna buy at a very high class motherfucking lampshade
Yeah.
for your light, and then we
yeah.
can face that way, the wall. Yeah. But anyway, enough about that podcast.
Yes.
Lead guitarist, sir.
Lead guitarist, so obviously with the reunion and stuff in recent years and everything seems to be going really well with them, I have rekindled my love for Slash. Not that it ever went away as such, it's just that when you, I mean obviously him and Miles Kennedy teaming up, that was like fuck yeah, I've been waiting for something like this for so long. And then after that had gone and before that happened, it was just kind of like you forget about Slash, which is a shame because fucking incredible. And obviously, if prompted to think about him, like if you said to me even 3 years ago, like who would you put as a lead guitarist in a fantasy band that you slung together yourself, I would then think about him. I'd be like, oh yeah, well, it's got to be, hasn't it? But just he kind of disappears into the fabric with what's happened with the band over the back in their day, obviously. And I do feel sorry for him because I feel like that's kind of what happened to the whole band, really, when Axl decided that he was going to be a cunt. So yeah, I mean, I've got deep sympathy for the rest of the band, really. But Slash would have always been fine. I never really got into Velvet Revolver, must admit.
No, I don't even know one song. I couldn't name it.
I couldn't name it. No, I've definitely listened to a few, just caught them on like TV and stuff. But again, I think when you're in a band
Slither.
as big and prestigious as Guns were back in the day and are now, obviously, but for the best part in between, were kind of a bit of a taboo subject for a lot of people. A lot of people would have said the same thing, like, yeah, the rest of the band are great. He's a cunt. Axl's an absolute cunt. Mm-hmm. And it is a shame, really, because that kind of brings the whole thing down on its head a little bit. Because the rest of the band, obviously, are just as important as he was, and yet couldn't continue without him, really. So yeah, I picked Slash because he's always been one of the greatest guitarists in the world, in my opinion.
I completely agree. He's not my choice. I thought about him after I finalised my choice, and I was like, "Fuck! How did I not think about Slash?" So I didn't go for it in the end, but he is my second choice. Now,
Any others? Any others that nearly made the cut, or is
No.
it just him?
I
So it was
could
literally.
only think of one at the time,
Oh wow.
and which is my choice, and then I thought of Slash afterwards.
Okay.
My choice is the legendary Dimebag Darrell
Fuck yeah.
of Pantera.
Daryl fucking Abbott.
Yeah. So if you don't know about Dimebag Darrell, finish watching this podcast and then do some research because you're missing out. He's influenced so many of today's guitarists and died way too young in a fatal shooting.
Fuck yeah.
After Pantera broke up, they started Damage Plan with a different vocalist.
Lissad.
And yeah, someone shot him up. America.
Yeah, fucking America, alright. So basically, for anybody that doesn't really know the greatest story behind that, I'll just have a quick fill you in. Pantera are fucking amazing. If you've never listened to any Pantera or very little Pantera, you need to sort your life out. And I'm sorry, but even back then, like, Phil was great. He complemented the band so well.
Absolutely.
Considering that, I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but considering that their first release was technically a hair metal sort of project.
Yeah, it was.
And you can hear it, that's still available, you can still find that very easily. Listen to that and then listen to Vulgar Display. Just see the difference, my friends. See the fucking difference. And to be fair, the band themselves were always open about that from day one. They tried it, they were into the hair metal scene at the time, and fucking spandex and leather and stuff, and then just one day they all just said, "Do you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I want to terrify people." And that's basically what they did. Changed their image, changed their style completely, and broke the fucking bank doing so.
Yeah.
But things became very sour between, not so much on the rest of the band's side at all, really. It was mostly Phil developing a very serious drug problem. Supposedly, I mean, every fucking musician blames heroin addiction on pains that they're having. Kurt Cobain with his stomach and stuff. I think there is a bit more substance to that than there is with Phil, but Phil apparently had chronic back pain, and that's why he started using. Nearly killed himself at a gig, which kind of sent him on a bit of a weird one. So the rest of the band were eventually just left sort of waiting for Phil to make a choice. And in this time, Phil started up all sorts of other projects like Down, Superjoint, and was just basically knocking out album after album. And eventually, the rest of the band, like Vinnie Paul and Dimebag, were just like, do you know what? We're two of the greatest fucking musicians in the world at what we do. Like, I'm getting sick and tired of waiting for this fat, bald-headed prick to decide
Sort
whether or
of
not
shit
he
out.
wants to be in a band with us anymore. Fuck it, let's start our own thing. And do you know what? It was going so fucking well. And then in 2004,
Yeah, that's when he died.
2004, they played a show, very small indoor show. Can't quite remember what the venue was called, and I should, because it's obviously very famous for this reason now. Very small underground sort of club kind of venue, and somebody who it's come out since, because the shooter was actually shot dead at the scene as well by a copper with a shotgun. But it's come out since then that his motive behind it was basically because he was pissed that Pantera were no longer a band. So he paid ticket price to go and see a band that he didn't want to see, with the intention of going up on stage and shooting. Well, I assume it was with the intention of shooting Daryl.
I'm
But
guessing so.
I mean, why? Why single him out?
I don't-
Why?
I don't think it's
single
all.
him out?
I know that obviously he's not a fan, that he wasn't happy with Pantera went band anymore. I think there's more to it than that as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, he was psychologically, he was fucked up. He was an ex-Marine. He knew how to handle a gun extremely well. He took his first shot from a very good distance away for a handgun shot. But yeah, I mean, literally watch the Behind the Music MTV special of it. Even, I mean, that's this. I would never say go to MTV to educate yourselves, because that's silly. But in this particular instance, you can find out enough about the situation that will make you angry with Phil Anselmo for the rest of your life. Because even in...
Also, he's just a massive cunt now.
He is just a massive cunt now. And
If you're black, he probably doesn't like you.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, he's come under fire for all sorts of things. But yeah, so that is quite possibly one of the saddest stories in the metal world.
The thing is, it's
It had a ripple effect.
Had a ripple effect, but
It made
In a
bands
tiny-
afraid to play on stage for a long time.
Yeah,
like,
the same things happened recently with the Paris attacks.
Yeah.
Queens of the Stone Age. It wasn't Queens of the Stone Age. It was Josh
Eagles
Homme's
of
band.
Death Metal.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it
the
has
Bataclan.
stemmed a few amazing songs from that. A notable "Betrayed" by Ben Sevenfold. That's about that. Kind of tells the story from both sides. And "Aesthetics of Hate" by Machine Head. That's about that as well. And just I think that's Rob Flynn's anger at a journalist that said some bullshit.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and the journalist was talking out his fucking arse. I can't remember the exact thing, content of that interview with the journalist, but so I'm not going to bother attempting to try it. But it's attempted. Some good things have come out of it. Not to say good things come out of death, because that's not the case. But
it's good that the metal community can sort of like
use it.
yeah, round up and use it as like a driving force to say fuck you to
Yeah,
people like
pretty
that.
much. But
You can't ask for
Dimebag
anything more
is
after
my
that,
choice, and his chugging riffs, all the insanity of Pantera, mixed that with the beastiness of... There you go, Pantera.
Fucking, mate, yes, I'm gonna be... Do you know what? Do you need a lift home after this? Because I am literally going to blast the fucking shit out of that song.
Excellent, I love it. Also, I think we'll talk about the band probably afterwards, but I'll quickly shout in now that I think it will complement James Hetfield. There's two different types of metal
Oh, fuck yeah.
combined.
Fuck yeah.
Go really well. He's the only member that can't provide vocals. He didn't provide vocals for Pantera, so he's not going to do
It's
it.
because he
here.
was too fucking smashed all the time. He probably
Yeah.
could sing really well. I mean, he
Perhaps.
was a massive, massive Kiss fan, so I
Oh,
can
was he?
imagine. Oh,
Okay.
fuck yeah.
Awesome.
Fuck yeah.
Wait, it wasn't... Someone really famous was buried in the whole Kiss box. Was that him?
Possibly,
sure.
yes. He was buried with quite a few famous guitars.
Okay.
And yeah, as far as I know, Gene Simmons might have said something at his funeral as well.
Okay, sick.
But yeah, I mean, absolutely fucking... It's a sad story. Anybody that doesn't know about it, you should go and read up about it. It is going to make you angry. It is going to make you very sad, the state of our fucking world nowadays. But it's worth knowing.
It is what it is.
It is worth knowing because Pantera,
14
especially...
years in April, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it was like around about the same sort of time that Kurt Cobain died as well. I remember thinking that. So it might actually be the same date. I think it's April 24th, 2004 that happened. I'm going to double check now.
Please join us after this short break.
Yeah. Here's a word from our sponsors. Google. Death of Dimebag Darrell. 8th of December 2004. We were way off.
Yeah, I thought it was April, man. Fair enough. Don't know why I thought that. Maybe he's born in April. Maybe I'm just talking my arse.
Yeah, I mean, to
Journalism.
be fair, yeah, sick one. But yeah, so 8th of December 2004. Educate yourselves. The last show took place in Columbus, Ohio. I
Ohio, was
believe.
it? Okay. Right, so...
Very sad. So that brings us around to vocals.
Yes, as mentioned before, we've got two vocalists. Now,
Completely unplanned as well. We just
happened
did it.
to do it. Yeah. Now, I've got heavy and a soft, so we'll go with soft first. If you have a specifically soft, go for it. If you don't, then just choose a vocalist.
I have a vocalist that I figured in my head would be more melodic based, and I have one that would provide heavier vocals, so I'll do it that way.
Yep.
So I wouldn't say he's a soft vocalist at all, but I would say my main vocalist, actually, the person that I would probably, if I was managing the band and telling them, like, you do this, you do that, he's the guy that I would have sing the majority of it, and that is David Draymond.
Oh, wow. Really? Okay.
I fucking love his vocals, man. His vocal style is it might not be the best and it might not be the strongest, and it's, do you know what, it is very only really good for that purpose. Like, you can't ever imagine him sort of singing in any sort of other band that's not ridiculously sort of metal or heavy, really. Like, you couldn't imagine him in a pop outfit, put it that way. Like, whereas there are some vocalists in the metal community, like Miles Kennedy could do pop, he's got the vocal range to do that. I hope to fucking God he never does, but he could do that. And for what it's worth, Miles K was actually one of a very, very close runner-up as well. But yeah, I chose David Draymond because it's David Draymond, and his vocals... Find me another vocalist that sounds like David Draymond.
I can't.
There you go.
Wouldn't bother looking. No, I'm joking. I like David Draymond.
It could be Jermaine.
I'm just
I
imagining
don't fucking
Slash doing a fucking guitar for your band. He's like, oh, wow, over it. I was like, why is this strange?
Okay, so we wouldn't necessarily have the acid reflux because that is a very disturbed trademark.
It is, yeah.
I'm more talking about the fact. What's quite interesting for me with his vocals is that for some reason you can tell that he has Jewish influence in his family and in his like religion, his background basically, through some of his vocal styles, because he incorporates like Hebrew and shit into it, and like the whole what song is it? Fuck.
Slash playing the fucking guitar to Sound of Silence. That's what I just got from. You didn't say Slash, but that's what I got from that.
But again, yeah, that's a prime example of how strong his vocals can be.
I think it's a great cover.
I do.
It's
I'm.
fantastic.
It fucking blew my socks off.
So much shit because it's you covered a non-pop song. You do it to get into the mainstream. It's like, well, it's a really good song to be fair.
It's a really good song, and I don't give a fuck. They made it their own. Like
live is incredible as well.
I can only imagine at this point. I really
Bring
do
out
hope.
so many instrumentalists for it.
Fuck yeah. So they should. And it
backing
was while I
tracks.
was thinking about that it made me sort of think like Miles K could do this as well, because
I think they brought Miles Kennedy out for that song once. We need to find a video at some point.
yeah, that
I think anyway.
I would shit my pants in excitement.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like you can sort of. What I find interesting about it is that it's a hard thing to do to find yourself relating to somebody's background, or at least being sort of like knowledgeable about somebody's background and where they've come from, purely through not even the lyrics that they sing, but the way that they sing it. It's really weird. I can't remember what song it is, but it's got the in the middle, and the first time I heard that, I was just like, okay, why do I feel like I'm, this is like quite anti-Semitic. But no, and I looked it up afterwards, and I was like, fuck yeah, he is Jewish, and you can fucking hear it. Like, I don't understand how, I don't understand the logic behind it, but it's crazy.
I've never heard Jew in Disturbed, to be fair.
Really?
Yeah.
That's something.
I mean, I'm not keen. I don't care about people's religion. You can be whatever religion you
Oh,
like.
fuck yeah, no.
But I'm not a fan of his personal political views about certain things like Israel, but we're not going into that now. But that doesn't make a difference to the band.
No, definitely not.
So I never judge people's political views
Fuck
or
no.
anything with music.
As long as his music isn't fucking swimming with like one-sided opinions and stuff, which it
Yeah,
isn't
which it
really.
isn't, yeah.
Like,
And to be fair, yeah, he's a pretty good vocalist.
he's a fucking incredible vocalist, and the guy's been through so much. For anybody that doesn't know, Inside the Fire is a song written about something very real and very personal to him. And the video is, to be honest with you, I don't know how he shot that video without going a bit psycho for a few weeks, because it is exactly what happened to him. He was with a girl, I don't know how long for, I don't know how serious they were, don't know if they were engaged or anything like that. All I know is that he had a partner who he came home to find hanging one day in their apartment. And that is what that song is about. It's basically a conversation between him and the devil.
Right.
And that's where the different vocal styles in that song come from, where he goes from singing to going straight into the heaven lies beyond. That's supposed to be the devil screaming back at him. So I thought that when I read up about that, and when I like sort of looked into interviews that he had done specifically about that song, I just felt so much compassion for the guy, like, because it takes a lot to go through something like that and still be able to come out on the other side. Without taking too much of it must have been hard for him, but without taking too much of a battering, for him to actually be able to write a song, direct and star in a video that must have brought back some fucking horrific memories for the guy, and to still just carry on doing what he does afterwards, like it's no big deal. I mean, fair enough, it's an outlet. Perhaps that was at a time in his life where he thought, I'm still holding on to this, maybe if I write a song.
When he was 16, Jake is saying about,
Yeah.
was he that young when the hanging happened?
Yeah. It was about
Yeah,
that.
nah.
He was a very young man. And this is what I love about the guy so much, is that he's been through a lot. The whole ooh, ow, is actually a medical condition. That's like him suffering really bad from acid reflux one time, and it fucks his vocal cords up, and that's why he can do that shit. As far as I know. I've never actually read that myself. I've heard a lot of people say that.
First time for me.
Really?
But I didn't know about this Inside the Fire thing either. So
That's really interesting. That's probably like the most interesting thing about Disturbed for me is that, like, you don't necessarily listen to that song and think, fuck me, he's been through a lot. Upon first glance, it's only when you research it and you think, shit. Like,
yeah, I'm going to give that a really listen tonight.
Do it. When you know, like, now that you know that it's supposed to be him singing or like him talking to the devil and then the devil screaming back at him, listen to it in the different vocal styles like that. And
I'll bring up the lyrics as well.
It's fucking scary. To be honest, it is a little bit scary. Other vocalists that I thought about bringing in instead of David Draymond was Matt Heafy.
Okay.
Very, very close second. I struggled.
Fantastic surname.
Fantastic fucking vocalist as well, and I think he's only gotten better and better.
Definitely
over the years, man.
He can hit the soft and the heavy.
Fuck yeah,
very easily now. Silence in the Snow was showing of that. That he can he's really tried to improve his singing voice.
And that was probably my hardest decision to make, but I went with David Draymond for more reasons than one. I don't necessarily prefer his vocal style. That's what the difficulty in the situation was that actually I probably hold them in not in equal sort of runnings in terms of them being musicians as a whole, because I listen to a lot more. I don't fucking know. All right, I listen to Trivium and Disturbed, and I like them both, and that's just the way it is.
It's a fair second choice, though.
It is a fair second choice, and I really wish that I hadn't thought of one of them because it was impossible. But we've spoken about Matt Heafy and Trivium a lot over the past few weeks. I feel like we haven't really touched on Disturbed all that much.
They were in your future bands, the future of metal. But that's fine. Absolutely fine.
I just find that Trivium are doing a bit of a sick for us in the fact that they seem to come up almost every week.
Funny you say that.
Oh god, here we go. So who is your vocalist?
So second place for my soft vocalist was Miles Kennedy.
Fantastic.
Who I can't decide if I prefer. So my choice is Justin Hill from Sixth.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay, so I can decide who.
Keep it 6/7 weeks in a row, guys.
I can't decide who I like better, but once you hear my other vocalist, I decided, because I've got a heavy vocalist that's next. Now, I love Miles Kennedy's voice. He will not suit.
He's a fucking angel.
Yeah, his voice will not suit a band that has a screaming vocalist.
No, I don't think so.
Whereas Justin's has obviously proven to be correct.
Yes.
So my pick is Justin Hill from Sixth. Known on the album of Death of a Dead Day. There we go. Now it's been mentioned.
For fuck's sake.
Right. Yeah, incredible vocals. So I say he's soft vocalist, but at the same time, it's right in what you say. He's the softer out of the two. He doesn't scream that much, but he can scream. But his fucking singing voice is just one of the best in the world, in my opinion.
I must admit, for somebody that hadn't had much exposure to Sixth until our album review in the second week? Second week.
Was it second week? Okay.
Third week.
Perhaps.
Sometime.
Check them all out. Watch them one by one.
Literally. Comment on all of them.
Every minute.
But, yeah, I mean, fucking... Again, as I mentioned on that podcast when we were doing the album review, it's not necessarily an album I would have picked out for myself. I'm glad I listened to it. There is definitely something to be said about Sixth. They are a band that you will not hear anything like, really. You can find similarities in other bands, but you will never find another band like Sixth, and that's what I did enjoy about that album. But it was mostly his vocals. Kieran had sort of forewarned me in the past or raved about them in the past, and I thought, like, yeah, cool, I'll check that guy out. It wasn't until I listened to that album that I thought, fucking, alright,
On
fair
part
enough.
of the friction, man.
Fair enough. Like,
Towards the end, where he's just,
he just hits that fucking note, doesn't he? Like,
and
it's goosebumps.
It's just
man.
fucking.
It's goosebumps.
He's doing nothing. He's just doing a single note, and it's just like, oh, that's so fucking good.
He is a strong vocalist.
And with Mikey's screams as well.
Yeah, too right. Like, they do complement each other really fucking well. It's just, yeah, it's a shame, really. It was the third one, by the way.
Sixth, it's Sikth. I'm not sure they'll be your cup of tea, Billy, but you might like them.
They're a bit twisted. If you like sort of progressive techie / not gent techie, just, yeah, technical, a bit weird, kind of like getting your ears raped a little bit.
If
Sorry,
you
mum.
choose to listen to them, I would say part of the friction.
Yeah.
And if you want a softer song that displays just
Dirgent.
if you just want a soft song that displays just the soft vocals in this light.
Cool.
Yeah, but Justin, as I said, we'll chat about it more at the end again, but with my heavy vocalist, I feel like these guys would just work perfectly, and that's why I chose him.
Sick. Right, let's move on to said heavy vocalists then. So, naturally, it wouldn't be right if I didn't mention Corey Taylor.
Corey Taylor was up there as a possible choice.
Yeah, has
Was
to
he
be.
my second? Is he your actual choice?
He is my actual
Oh,
choice,
okay.
yes.
Fucking hell, I'm surprised. Yeah, he was my second choice. I'm genuinely surprised by that. We'll
Why
go
so?
into that afterwards.
Why so?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I sort of knew from the off that I wanted to have two vocalists. And I toyed with the idea of just having one for a while because it was easier. And then I thought, when I finally decided, no, I definitely do want to. It became very difficult for me to actually settle on Corey Taylor because I'd already chosen David Draymond. I'd been through the fucking hardships of having to choose out of him and Matt. And I think, realistically, yes, I think Trivium and Slipknot are closer bands to each other than Slipknot and Disturbed are.
But you'd want it. I think you wouldn't want that.
Exactly. That's why I decided I will go with Corey Taylor and David Draymond, because it's something that, I mean, I can imagine their vocal styles just about splicing well enough, but it would be one of those things that doesn't sit in your ears very well. If they pulled it off, which, let's face it, if they're my band and I'm managing them, they're going to. If they pulled it off and they did something, like if the rest of the music sort of added up with it in some bizarre, twisted way that I couldn't even describe right now, so perhaps I'm not the one to manage that band at all. I think it could work. I think it would be that sort of level of dissonance and discordance in their voices that something would be strangely attractive about it, if that makes sense.
Okay. I can't envision them working together.
I can't know, but this is a fantasy at the end
Yeah,
of the
no,
day.
of course, yeah.
So we're just going to go on the premise that they have had freaky bum sex at some point in their life and that they are well close, and the hardships of actually being in a band with each other are absent at this point. It is just purely about what I would like to see. And I'm not going to lie, when I first sort of thought, Corey Taylor could be one, and I sort of sat him next to David Draymond, I really couldn't imagine it, to the point where I was like, no, I can't do that. I got to that point. I honestly, it was literally just the fact that I felt like I couldn't do that made me do that. Because I could do whatever the fuck I want. It's my band, man.
Your band, your fantasy.
It is, yeah. And I just think that if they pulled it off well, it could work. If they did not, it would sound awful.
Would you keep Corey Taylor as screaming only, or would you let him sing as well?
I'd let him sing as well, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. To be honest with you, in my mind, I wouldn't necessarily picture them doing too much. I wouldn't necessarily have Corey Taylor like singing a great deal or doing much of the vocal work, just because I wouldn't want it to be that sort of black and white. It would be levels, really. It would just be about incorporating levels. But I knew I wanted two vocalists. I knew that I wanted one that could do the heavier stuff when it was necessary, and one that can sing extremely well in a powerful way. Now, Corey Taylor can sing in a really powerful way, but he hasn't got the range behind him that David Draymond does. So that was what I eventually settled on, was just like, okay, bit of a weird combination, fully understand that. Fully don't give a shit either. I think that it could work if everything was right about it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, with my heavy vocalist, the final choice of the band, I wanted something to suit Justin's vocals, so scream.
I'm quite hyped
similar
about
to
this,
Six.
actually. Yeah, I'm quite interested to see where
So, I've chosen what I believe, and a lot of people believe, is one of the best screamers of this generation, and that is Randy Blythe of
Lamb
of
of
God.
fucking God. Too right. Shit. Fuck. I'm out.
Yeah, so Corey Taylor was the second choice.
Yeah,
but that's that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bill. Does have decent cleans for Stone Sour. He's had some decent cleans for Slipknot as well.
Yeah, which we'll get to shortly.
Yes, we will. Hold your breath.
But no, Randy Blythe, his vocal range, his technique, just the sound is just what I love. From
It's
screams.
just brutal, isn't
It's
it? Like,
you
his
want
vocals
to
are
fucking. I don't
brutal.
mosh, and I've gone into a Lamb of God. No, have I? No, I didn't go into a Lamb of God mosh pit because I was close to the front. But I considered it, and that's not what I usually do.
I can tell that you didn't go into a Lamb of God mosh pit because your face isn't deformed.
There you go. Thanks, I guess.
Well,
That's
yeah,
a backhanded compliment.
Well, it's not really backhanded at all. I'm saying your face is symmetrical and non-Lamb of Godified.
He's so cute.
Star, dude.
So, okay.
Okay.
We
My
respect
name's
the
Randy
rights of
Blythe.
LGBT on this podcast.
We really do. We love all you dykes.
Cut the call now.
No, we do. We are probably the two most sort of like people that would joke about being judgmental, but we're probably the two most
Least
unjudgmental
Yeah.
people in the fucking world. Like if you
just-
want to flap your baps in somebody's face, go ahead. It doesn't
Anyone.
matter if they've got baps of their own. We don't care here.
Anyone can be a cunt.
Like, we just do it really well.
Yeah. So if you're a white straight male, you're probably a cunt too. Jesus Christ. Moving swiftly on, yeah.
Yeah, before we get sued.
So, Randy Blythe, oh yeah, just such a good fucking vocalist.
He's incredible, man.
And him working alongside Justin to make that mix, so it would be different.
I fucking love that. I
Yeah.
love the thought of that.
It's a
That's-
completely different sound to Sixth, but it's inspired by my thoughts. When I chose Justin, I was like, I need a heavy vocalist as well.
Okay, so I mean, obviously you've picked the rest of your band out. Let's just isolate the vocalist for a second.
Yeah.
What sort of, if you had to pick whether they were going to sound more like Sixthy or whether they were going to sound more like Lamb of God with Justin's vocals, or were they going to sound more like Sixth with Lamb of God vocals? Which way round would it be?
Probably entirely different, but if I'm going to put them on a spectrum of Lamb of God to Sixth, it'd be closer to Lamb of God.
Okay, so it'd
Definitely.
be more like
It's a metal band.
incorporating like softer, more melodic vocals into Lamb of God style.
Yeah, it's Lamb of God and more metal.
That's
It's a
the way
metal
that I
band.
can picture it better in my head.
Yeah, I can't
must admit.
hear Randy Blythe doing Sixth vocals.
No.
Can you imagine Randy Blythe? No. So yeah,
Fucking, he's just amazing though. Like,
he's sick, so good.
it says something about a guy that I don't know if he can sing. I've never heard him sing.
Oh, he's got one song with Chino Moreno from Deftones.
Fucking hell.
We'll play that later as well, or
Okay.
at one point. So
Yes.
it's his only soft vocal song.
Mm-hmm.
So Randy's actually going through a thing at the moment where he's saying he's going to probably scream less on albums.
I've heard this. I've read this.
Yeah, so a lot of people aren't happy with it, but he's doing it for his own vocals. He's not doing it out of choice, I don't think. I think he...
I mean, it happens though.
Has
This is the
to.
thing. It's happened to all of the big ones that screamed.
They've
too
been a
much.
band since 1994, which I only found out the other day. I thought they were in like 2001 or something, but Craig Lannister told me they were 2004. No,
Fair
sorry,
fucking
1994.
Fuck.
So he's been screaming for 24 years. That's going to fuck your vocal cords.
Oh fuck yeah.
So he's one song, I can't actually remember, Embers. Right, Embers by Lamb of God. He sings soft. No, wait, sorry, Embers, he doesn't sing soft. Ignore that. On the same album, he's got a song he sings soft.
Okay.
There's a song where he screams with Chino at the end.
Is that Sacrament?
No, this is the newest album. Oh, I can't remember what it's called.
Okay.
Oh, Sturm und Drang.
Okay. I'll have a look into that because I haven't actually heard that album at all.
The thing is, I don't mind it. It's okay, the song, with him soft vocals. I like Randy because of the way he screams. A lot of people,
And he's the fucking dude as well, man. He's a good guy.
yeah,
Like,
well, he had all that shit with the fucking court case, didn't he?
yeah, yeah.
And that was pretty much not guilty, thank fuck. But
Yeah.
he's just been
What was he
proven
accused of? Was that battering his wife or something like that?
No, that was manslaughter of a fan. Because a fan went on
Yes.
stage and then
Yes.
he jumped off or got pushed off by security or something like that and he died from his injuries.
Fuck.
So there was a good year-long court case in Czech Republic. I think they couldn't get him for years, and then they came back to tour. And as soon as he came back to tour, they're like,
They
"We can
arrested
get
him
you
straight
now."
up. Yeah, I remember that now. It's just that there are so many stories that came out roughly about the same sort of time. Like they, it was As I Lay Dying vocalist Tim Lambesis.
Yeah.
He had his Murder for Hire
Yeah.
thing come out like around about the same sort of time, or I found out about them at the same sort of time anyway. So a lot of these things just sort of blend into one for me. It's just shit, really. Like, but obviously, like none of us as fans know who Randy Blythe is as a person or anything. But just purely from the way that he conducts himself in interviews and when he's talking about his band and stuff like that, like, I just couldn't ever imagine here.
No.
Even if he had physically pushed this fan, he would never have intended to hurt them.
No, well, no.
Fuck no. He would have intended to be like, get the fuck off of my stage, definitely.
Yeah,
He's
no one
within
belongs on a
every
stage unless you're
fucking
invited.
right. He has
Yeah.
every right to do that shit, but yeah, it's fucked up, man.
Yeah, it is.
So who gives a fuck?
Yep. So let's go over your band, then mine.
Yes, so to recap, we have the Reverend on drums for both projects. I have bassist is Flea. You want me to go through my whole band?
Yeah, we'll go through your band and discuss your band.
So yeah, Flea on bass. Rhythm guitar was Matt Tuck. Lead guitar is Slash. And then my two vocalists are David Draymond and Corey Taylor. And it is worth noting that Joey Jordison very nearly made drummer, but I just can't.
He was my second.
Can't do that over the Rev.
Never choose anyone over the Rev, but I posted on the original post where I asked you to comment on. I put up my second choice, and that was with Joey as drummer. But I'll never choose anyone over the Rev. So your band.
Yeah.
What kind of sound would they have? Do you think? Would it be a metal band?
I mean, there's definitely more metal influences in there. The only two really are Flea and Slash. Now, I can imagine them working extremely well together on like a rock project or something like that. So they would be sort of like my red flags in the band if I said to them, right, I need you guys to be a metal outfit. Go. They would be my two red flags. It's like, can they do this? But I firmly believe that Slash can do anything the fuck he wants. And when it comes to bass, really, or like the rhythm section as a whole, Flea is technically advanced enough that he wouldn't struggle to do anything like that. Whether or not he would choose to is irrelevant at this point because it's my fucking band. Yeah, I don't think he would really struggle, to be honest. He knows enough about like the theory side of bass that he could probably just do anything. So,
yeah.
But they would be, I would say, yeah, it would probably be more like really heavy rock with, you know, quite a harsh metal undertone, but it wouldn't necessarily be able to call it like a metal band as such. I don't know. Truth be told, I didn't really sort of think about that part of it. I just went for members that I just love.
Okay.
Not even necessarily that they're my favourite musicians in the world, therefore. It's not even like that, but just that, yeah, I have a firm respect for all of them for what they do.
Yeah,
so
sure.
That's what made the lineup final for me. But yeah, I would say like very, very, very heavy rock, but
Okay.
perhaps not quite metal.
All right, sick. And you mentioned before your vocalists that you probably have David doing more of the vocals. Is that correct? Or is it like a 50-50?
Yeah, I think so. Mostly just because when I think about the rest of the band, I can imagine it being more melodic driven on the vocals.
Right. I was about to ask actually. Also, you say I asked you before about would you have Corey
Sing and do heavies.
Yeah. Now, well, I said, would you let him sing? Would you let him scream, or would you keep him to his singing vocals?
I guess it would be one of those kind of situations where it would mostly be like a singing band in my head. Not that I have any problem with heavy vocals at all. I probably listen to like more strictly heavy vocal bands than perhaps you do. So it's definitely not a problem for me. Some and some.
Maybe.
Um,
Perhaps.
So definitely not a problem for me to have heavy vocalists in the band. I just feel like, yeah, the rest of the project sort of gears itself up to be more melodic driven. And in that sense, I would sort of have it as maybe certain parts of a song it could call for like heavy vocals, in which case Corey Taylor would be able to smash it. But I would prefer that they both sang. If I had to choose, like, right, if you want melodics, you can't have any heavies, that is what I would go for.
Okay. Cool.
Yours, on the other hand, so recap.
Going up the list, I have the Revers drums, of course. Lemmy on bass, James Hetfield on rhythm guitar, Dimebag Darrell on lead guitar, and my vocalists would be for soft vocals Justin Hill and for heavy Randy Blythe.
Just as a point of interest out of that, what would have been good, I mean, obviously, like you said, nobody ever gets picked over the Rev. Firmly don't have a problem with that, but what would have been awesome is the prospect of Dimebag Darrell and Joey Jordison working together.
Yeah?
That would have been fucking sweet.
I'm not sure who... I don't know, obviously I know a lot more about the Rev than I know about Joey. I'm not sure where the influences lie for Joey. I know that the Rev was extremely influenced by Pantera and Dimebag.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about Joey. I'm sure that any metal band probably has influences from Pantera.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Joey did. But I mean, both Slipknot and Avenged started the same year, so it's not as an age difference too much. I think Joey's a bit older than, well, Joey's older than what the Rev would be now.
Yeah.
He would have been 37 on Friday, just gone. So that's that. Mine would be a predominantly metal, well, they would be just a metal band.
Yeah.
Thrashing guitars with Dimebag Darrell and Randy Blythe, I think is a great mix as well.
Definitely, I can picture that.
Yeah, like Lamb of God were at times cited to be the next Pantera kind of thing. So, very much so.
See, when you say it like that, I'm kind of like, really?
Yeah, a lot of
That's
people
a
like
bit
their next
weird.
Pantera.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah, they're not exactly the same in terms of genre, but that's what I've seen in a lot of places.
I wonder what drove people to make that sort of comment. It's interesting. I might have to read up on that a little bit more, actually.
The bass from Lemmy, of course, the insanity of drums. Now, kind of more behind the scenes, writing would be shared between all, because I know for a fact that all of those can write.
Yeah, and they're all fucking pretty damn good at it.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't.
You'd never get anybody else to write a guitar part for Dimebag Darrell. That just wouldn't happen.
No. So whereas I said any member of that band apart from Dimebag has been known for doing side vocals or backing vocals, I would keep it to a minimum aside from the two vocalists. And I've Lemmy, the Rev, or Hetfield did do that. They wouldn't all be on the same song doing vocals. Maybe they have one song where they all did a bit of vocals on it to get a massive range. But I think we'll get too mixed up in the head of that's 5 different vocalists. Calm down. So those are our bands.
That is that. Yeah, cool. Any sort of point where you struggled to choose out of 2 people, or that you struggled to find like one particular member that you were sort of like finalised on?
So I probably liked Corey Taylor as a vocalist more than I like Blythe, because I love my mix of screaming and singing. However, Taylor's probably more of a cunt than Blythe. I don't know anything bad about Blythe, and I just feel like Taylor's ego was there, but I didn't choose about that. I chose about the vocals and how that would mix with Justin, as I mentioned already. Again, Simmons, Gene Simmons, Lemmy. Lemmy. I said before, you want him on the band.
Oh fuck
Gene
yeah!
Simmons.
I would do anything to see that man play, and I'm so gutted that I never got to and never will.
3 times.
Fuck man!
And then Hetfield and Tuck, that became pretty easy after I first looked. Now, if Dimebag was there by himself for a while,
yeah,
and didn't put him straight on. I was like, I'm sure there's other guitarists that I might want more. And then I couldn't think of anyone.
So what swung that for you in the end then?
I couldn't think of anyone. So I thought, I can't think of anyone else. And Dimebag was going to be up there anyway, even if I thought of someone else. It's not like I went, I can't find anyone else, fuck it, Dimebag would do. Dimebag was highly up there anyway. And I thought of Slash afterwards, and even then I could have changed it because that was before we started the podcast, and I didn't, so I stuck with Dimebag.
Cool.
So there was no real struggles.
So there are bands. Just as a point of interest, we've had a few comments,
Including
with
Billy's
people
as well.
So I'll tell you what, we'll start with Bill's, because
Oh god. Block Billy Hammond. No, thank you.
no, let's not do that.
Oh, you can't see more.
That's fair enough.
Oh, you go.
There we go. Yeah, okay.
Howard Jones, what a fucking great shout. Sorry. Right, so you're going to read out some others from other people.
I am, yep. I'm just going to get those up if you want to read Bill's out first.
Yep, so Billy Joe Hammond's lineup is that the drummer will be Joey Jordison in his prime. Okay. Did he have leave his prime? I don't know. Bassist Flea, no brainer. I'm sure he could play metal. I would say he's right up there with the best with technical ability. Fair shout.
Very much so.
Rhythm guitar, Jim Root, riff for days. You technically can't have him because you've got Joey Jordison. They've been in the same band.
But we will not subject you to the same rules that we passed in this particular instance.
You did join it halfway through, but yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Lead guitar, absolute great choice, of course, for Sinister Gates. May or may not have any chemistry with Jim Root, but this is my fantasy, so it works. I think they would actually go pretty well together. They're in two high bands. Jim's my favourite member, was my favourite member of Slipknot.
Yeah.
I think
another one of
quite well
Corey
together.
Taylor being a fucking tit.
Singer Howard Jones with soft vocals, absolutely fantastical, brilliant vocalist, and he wouldn't have gone over Justin Hill for me, but he would have been up there.
So, yeah.
And Sam Carter, that's the dude from Architects.
Yes.
For the hard vocals, I've been getting into Architects a lot. I've probably played Doomsday about
50
50
times in
times
the
this week.
fucking time that I've been in contact with you, let alone all of the times that you've been like, I'm just going to listen to that song again.
It's just, I'm loving it. Probably because of the meaning behind it. And
It is, yeah.
I watched...
It's like Linkin Park all over again. You go back and listen to their latest album and you think, fuck.
Yeah.
This has so much more meaning now that something bad has happened, which is sad that it sort of has to come to that level, but...
I still haven't gone back and listened to... I've listened to Heavy once since he died, and I've not listened to the whole album. I've not listened to any of the songs ever, apart from Heavy. Heard it beforehand, and I've decided to listen to it again, even though I think it's trash. But it's obviously sad because of how Chester... What he was singing about, and how now we know now he's dead, now he killed himself, how we realise what was so... what the lyrics
and
really
what
mean.
was so fucking special about the lyrics in that album.
But with Architects, it's not just that. It's a completely different feeling to. Because I've not been a fan of the band ever, right? So it's a completely different feeling. Whereas I was a massive fan of Linkin Park back in the day,
Yeah.
and now I kind of like faded out of love with them.
I've always been a pretty big fan of Architects. Sorry, yeah, go on.
Yeah, so I don't feel that's it's different, but when I started watching that, videos pop up on my YouTube, because as soon as you watch a video once, it's like, oh, you want to see everything about Architects? No, I don't. Okay, but I saw loads of little tribute videos for Tom Sell, and he seemed like a pretty cool guy, so it kind of gave more meaning to it. And since I watched those, I watched the music video again, and yeah, it doesn't hit hard like Chester, because I was so connected to Chester once in my life, whereas Tom I only found out about when he died, and only watched a few videos the other day, and that's how it kind of connected to my head now.
It's fucking sad.
Of course it's sad, absolutely. But the lyrics to Doomsday are just
they're powerful as fuck.
Really powerful. I watched a few reaction videos as well, and there's just some guy like in his fucking mid-30s or something, bearded guy, you wouldn't fuck with him kind of guy, and he cries at the end, like how intense that was. I was like, yeah, that's fair.
That's pretty apt. And to be fair, I don't even think you need to be a fan of the band for that either. That's the thing, is if you know about that one piece of their history, and then you go and listen to that song, it's right there in your face, really. It's kind of like, shit, you guys are still reeling.
Yeah.
But there is like a sense of triumph about it as well. Like they're going to carry on pushing on because that's what he would have wanted, kind of thing.
Yeah.
There is that feeling behind it, and that's what I really like about that song. I've only heard it a handful of times on like... I've probably heard it more through you than I have anything else. But.
Yeah.
So, other people's comments that are definitely worth mentioning. We have Mickey Fenton, who his lineup consists of Chris Cornell on vocals. I definitely agree with that. Kieran, maybe,
Not keen.
Slash on guitar, good choice, obviously.
Of course.
Rhythm guitar was Malcolm Young.
Yeah,
you got to have fucking great. Nice. Billy Sheehan on bass. Now, I never actually knew who this was.
What are you doing?
Hey, Symbols Rob. Hey, I'm a drummer too.
Favoritism, man.
Yeah, legit. It's fine. Just got a backer, son. It's cool. I'll just be a session
Maria
musician.
Callas as fucking. Sorry, go on. We'll read that out at the end. Well, after these.
So yeah, and then John Bonham on drums for Mickey's lineup. We had Sophie Ray saying that she was going to come back and
Never
give us a good
did.
thing, and she did not.
Sophie Ray.
Okay, so there's your second choice there. So we'll go through that as well. So Miles Kennedy.
Yeah, this is my second choice that I didn't go for.
So Miles Kennedy was your second choice for a vocalist. John Five on guitar, Zachy Vengeance on rhythm, Gene Simmons on bass, and Joey Jordison on drums.
I've put in brackets that Gene Simmons is not allowed to have any opinion
on anything. I like it. That's good criteria.
And Craig Glenister, I'll try this one out. So Craig Glenister he decided to bring the heavy. His vocalist was C.J. McMahon from Thy Art Is Murder. His lead guitar is John Gallagher from Dying Fetus. The rhythm guitarist would be Ben Savage from Whitechapel. The bassist would be Alex Webster from Cannibal Corpse. And finally, Chris Adler from
Chris
Lamb of
Adler
God.
is a fucking legend.
Yeah, I've got one of his drumsticks, man.
Yeah, awesome.
Good moment.
Awesome. But yeah, I fucking love Chris Adler, and for what it's worth, if anybody doesn't know, Roadrunner did way back in the day. They've probably done a couple by now, but this was the first one that they ever did, where they did like kind of like what we've done with tonight. Really, it was like a mashup of just super bands basically, and they did a few albums like that. And one of my favourite things on that was Chris Adler played drums while Rob Flynn was on vocals.
Excellent.
They did like a song together with that, and it sounded so fucking good, man.
Cool.
I'll dig out the name of it, and I will get that posted to the page at some point because it is worth a listen. Definitely. But yeah, Chris Adler's fucking just a brilliant drummer.
I'll probably post it on the comments after on the actual video.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So, Karen Elizabeth Evangelista has chosen Kieran Heafy as drummer. This is my mother, by the way. So it's kind of... This is why I told you not to comment. I'm joking. Not joking. Lead singer M Shadows, backing singer Maria Callas, guitar Brian May, and cymbals Rob. And apparently you will be manager as well. There you go.
Well, do you know what? I'm not sure if I can take that. And the cymbals. Right, let's break for lunch. What the fuck? But no, I mean...
Wow, that's gone really blurry. Here we go.
Yeah, it really has. Technical difficulties. So yeah.
So I was thinking about naming this episode Technical Difficulties, but Beatdown named their podcast Technical Difficulties, so I've already got a different name.
Okay. Technology is wank. Let's not. So yeah.
So we said before that we would decide our favourites of the proposed lineup from you all. And as much as I'd love to be in a band with them Shadows, it will not be Karen's. So it's weird to call her Karen. I've got to go for Billy's. Billy's lineup's the best one that I've seen so far. There's still time to comment yours.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that.
At the end, if there's more, we'll decide again at the end. But
Craig's lineup is strong, but I don't know all of them, so I can't really comment on that. But the ones that I do know, I'm like, fuck, Chris Adler. I should have thought of Chris Adler. Like, not that he would have made the cut over the Rev, but it would have been a nice other person to talk about. And this is precisely why whenever we put sort of like little comments and votes out to you guys, I don't allow myself to read them before the podcast because it would just fuck with my head too much.
Yeah, I read them. That's why I usually ask people to comment on the day of it, so I know that I'm ready and done and I'm set. But yes, no, great lineups from all of you. To be fair,
yeah, definitely. It's good to have that interactivity as well.
What time is it?
It is 6 minutes past.
So we're going to move on to our review to close the podcast. So this week a couple of weeks back, we asked you to vote for our number 4s and our top 10 albums of this decade so far. This century so far. Hello, yes. Josh. How's it going? No worries, Billy. That's cool. Now then, it would be... So yes, we asked you to vote. Rob's choice was All Hope Is Gone by Slipknot, which obviously won, and the choice that was mine that didn't win was Unto the Locust by Machine Head. So,
without further ado, so obviously, album that I'm probably a little bit more familiar with than yourself,
correct.
As that only transpired before we started the podcast. Actually, I just assumed that it must be an album that you've spanned before.
No,
for
this
me,
is the first of a time I've listened to it in full.
You're fucking kidding.
No.
What the hell?
Yep.
Wow. For me, I love Slipknot's older albums. They had relevance to me at the time that they came out and at the time that I listened to them especially. I got my first Slipknot album when I was like 10. And a DJ at a skate park gave it to me and I asked him to put some on. He was just like, no, I'm not going to do that, but you can have the album if you want. So I guess he didn't like them. But yeah, I proceeded to take that disc home and listen to it about 3 or 4 times in a row. Shat my pants multiple times. I was 10 years old. I thought I was going to hell. And I loved it. I loved every fucking second of it. And then I listened to Iowa and was just like, oh my diggity days. But for me, All Hope Is Gone is a true landmark for the band. I get that diehard fans are like, oh, it's not Slipknot, it's not what I'm used to. Meh. I don't fucking care. They have grown so much as musicians. Like, if nothing else, you have to appreciate that while Joey Jordison's always been an incredible drummer, if you listen to the drumming that he uses in the self-titled album and in Iowa, it suits the music well, don't get me wrong, but it's sloppy. There are parts of it that are sloppy. There are parts of it that aren't as sort of strictly like straight down the middle or anything like that, which isn't always a bad thing, but there are parts that I feel like could have done with that. Do you know what I mean? There are parts that I feel like needed tight drumming. And the parts that really needed tight drumming, it was there. So, like, the sort of instrumental bit before Jump the Fuck Up in Spit It Out. That drumming there is perfect for that. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine him doing it any differently. So I definitely don't, like, call any question on his previous drumming. I just feel like when you listen to All Hope Is Gone, you think, fuck me, that is a drummer that has come a long way. Like, he's less crazy, which I feel like the diehard fans are like, oh, it's not what we're used to. Yes, it's not what you're used to, because they've spent longer making it a sound that they're proud of and showcasing it as them growing as musicians. Like,
So before we get into your songs, because we'll do that afterwards, but I'll continue from what you're saying. It is known, ignoring Point 5, the Great Chapter. So
it is known as their worst album,
yeah,
or their
lots
least liked
of people
album.
hate it.
I know.
And I don't mean it's the least liked. For some it is. Some people hate it.
Yeah.
With a passion. And they're
Yeah.
like, it's shit, it's god awful. People moan about Psychosocial as a song, which we'll speak about shortly anyway.
I don't understand how anybody can have that opinion, though. Like,
No.
it might not be what you're used to, and if people say, like, it's alright, but, you know, like, it's not what I expect from Slipknot, I can sort of gel with
Fair
that.
judgment.
Yeah, I can sort of gel with that. I'm like, well, okay, you shouldn't really expect anything from a band anyway, because any band that's going to release albums that sound exactly the same as their last one is not going to last for very long.
Well,
Some and some.
AC/DC.
AC/DC, I think that's more prestige behind them than anything else.
There's a lot less competition when they started, wasn't there?
Well, yeah, and I just don't think that the same can be said about bands nowadays. Like, I don't feel like any band can stay exactly the same and thrive.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at least they could with their die-hard committed fan base, but they would never be able to branch out and, like,
You'd have to be
draw more
really
people
good to stay. So Lamb of God fall under that category a little bit. They are
They're very good at what they
samey
do.
in between each album.
and they would never change it too
They
much.
don't need to.
Exactly.
They're one of the lucky bands that are so good at what they do, they don't need to change it.
Precisely, but at the same time, they're also a band that probably don't give a shit about drawing in many more fans because
They've got their cult.
Exactly, and I think that's probably the problem when people think about All Hope Is Gone, and indeed the next album, which I'm not even going to say by name because it makes me sick. I think that's generally the problem, is that it goes against their cult following.
Yeah.
It goes against their cult following, and a lot of people hate that. Whereas for somebody like me that tries to think objectively about new albums and stuff, I think, okay, it's not what I've come to expect from Slipknot. It is softer in a lot of ways.
The thing is, they went into this album with a lot less anger. If you look at the production of the albums before this, they went through so much shit and they got built up.
Subliminal verses,
and they got
man.
fucked over.
That was a
doing it.
fucking hard time for them.
Yeah,
like,
it's their best album in my opinion.
I can never really decide. It was my favourite album of theirs when it came out.
Okay, yeah, fair.
And then All Hope Is Gone became sort of on par with it when that came out. But for different reasons entirely. I liked the anger in Volume 3. So
Yeah.
I was at a stage in my life when All Hope Is Gone came out where I wasn't angry as much as I used to be. So perhaps I gelled with it easier because of that. I don't know. I've never really given it that much thought. I just don't see the problem with it. I don't see why, if it's not your cup of tea, fantastic. But if you listen to Slipknot screaming your fucking ears bleeding, then you shouldn't be drinking tea. Fuck whether it's your cup of tea. Like, it's Slipknot. Like, it's Slipknot.
I would also agree back on the point that this may be Joey's finest drumming.
Yeah, I
His drumming
firmly believe so.
It's great on this album, really good.
There are parts from, like, previous albums in which you think, like, fuck me, that drummer is so good. I mean, like, I can never remember the name of the song, but in the self-titled, there's a song where part of it just breaks away and it's just the drums going like...
Chameleon.
No.
It's sure it's Chameleon.
No.
Oh, no, it's
Because that's not on the first album.
It's
The
not.
song
That's
definitely is.
on volume 3. Sorry, but there was a bit in Vermilion that does.
I will
just
find
like
the
that.
song and I will also post that on the comments here, but... Or even better yet, if I can isolate that little... That's a sick fill as well.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is like, you wouldn't change that
No,
for love nor
no,
money.
no,
Like-
right.
and yeah, like there's been relevance in his drumming for what they're doing at the time. Every album they've released, without a shadow of a doubt. It's just, yeah, I think it's the most fine-tuned and most mature kind of drumming that he's done, really. And it shows professionalism, in my opinion. And I know that that's not necessarily something that people in the metal community give a shit about. It's not really something that I give a shit about, but I think it's worth noting, really. It's worth putting that out there. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. And indeed for the guitarists as well. Like, I do think it's some of their best work. Like, they've definitely, I mean, Mick Thompson, when I saw him at Download, fuck me, that guy is just... He
Brutal.
seems... Yeah,
Yeah.
he's brutal, but at the same time, like, I've seen videos of '09, which sadly I wasn't there for,
dude.
and you can see him going absolutely fucking ballistic. And then when I went to go and see them in 2013, obviously shit's happened since then. Bad shit has happened since then. But he was literally just stood in one place, like...
Yeah.
And occasionally he would swish his hair back and then just carry on playing. And the guy basically didn't move. Like, when I saw them in 2013, Corey was pretty much the only one that had energy. The rest of the band almost seemed like they hated him. Like, it was almost like he had gone out there like, come on guys, let's fucking do it, yeah, like, and the rest of them were just like, shut up, dude. Like, I can't be arsed with this right now. So that kind of like tainted, that was the first time that I'd ever actually been lucky enough to see them live, and it kind of tainted my view on how well they play live, because the rest of the band just weren't on it. But I've seen videos since then of them playing live where they're all sort of back on it a bit more.
So I've seen them live 5 or 6 times now. That's not a brag, just say 2013 was their weakest show.
Oh yeah, like, it doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
09 was incredible. I only saw half of it 'cause I went to see Prodigy.
That surprises me.
So it was
So you saw half of it, what, the latter half or the first half?
the latter half.
Thank fuck for that. I was going to say, you misjumped the fuck up. What's
Oh no,
wrong
no,
with
I
you?
was in the crowd, just like bewildered at what was going on.
The video for
There
that
was
is just so fucking
Multiple
jokes.
reasons why I chose Prodigy. My mum's favourite band, pretty much. So I've
Fair enough.
grown up listening to them.
Yeah.
I also was on the phone to her the whole time, not talking, just holding the phone so she could hear it. And
They've released some fucking bangers.
that was my first download. I was like, I love Slipknot, but I wasn't that much of a fan then. I knew a few songs. Like
You kind of go and see them because it's like for the prospect of seeing Slipknot kind of thing.
yeah, like
Or,
that's why I made sure I didn't see the end of them. But Prodigy, I knew a lot more songs. I was like, you know what, let's go fucking Prodigy.
Jump the fuck up, man.
Yeah.
That is literally...
I did miss Dead Memory Zone.
Ooh.
They've played it once since.
2013 they played it.
Right, there you go then. So in terms of actual songs, I'm going to
Yes.
go off my ones at the moment. So we'll discuss each of them because I'm sure that they are there.
I'm sure they're probably both the same as
This is an album. This is quite rare, actually. This is an album where the singles are correctly done.
well. Yes.
Right?
Totally
so,
agree.
So many... there's a lot of albums out there where you'll play... They'll release a song and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Mm.
And then you go listen to the album like, dude, this fucking song is awesome. It's never made into a music video. It's never released as a single.
Yeah.
This nailed on head.
There's only 2 songs that I rate like quite well in the album that are not singles.
There's only one for me. That's All Hope Is Gone. So we'll start with that song.
Yep, so that is one of them. Fucking tune.
Yep, really good.
Fucking tune. If nothing else, the opening is just brutal as fuck.
So when I said that I hadn't listened to this album in full before, I hadn't listened to any songs that weren't hits before. I'm really shit with this album. It came out at a time.
I'm fucking shocked.
It came out at a time where I didn't,
Butcher's Hook, man.
It came out at a time where I
Butcher's Hook.
didn't really listen to songs. Albums in full. Right, I kind of just listened to the odd song. And if I thought it was really good, I might listen to the whole album. Even
And
though
to
I
be
thought
fair-
this was really good, I didn't listen to the whole album.
In this particular instance, you don't really need to listen to the whole album. It's good, in my opinion. Like, there's no songs on there that are truly awful. One that I've got noted as a weaker one is Child of Burning Time. For me, the vocals are just a little bit like up there, and the rest of the music's like really kind of down here, and it doesn't sit well for me. It's not a bad song, it's just a weaker example on the album for me personally.
What song was that, sorry?
Child of Burning Time.
Okay.
So yeah, slightly weaker one for me, but still not like a bad song. I can't really think of a song that I would say is a bad song on the album. There are definitely plenty of weaker ones than the singles though. But we'll go into that then. So Butcher's Hook for me is another one that's not a single that I firmly believe deserves to be listened to quite a bit more than it probably is. But the rest of it, I mean, the opening to the album is fucking great. That is what. Do you know what? When they came out at 2013, I really hoped that they would do that.
Oh, really?
I really hoped that they would have. This is the year that all fails you. Like, I really hope that.
That's not this album.
Yes, it is. Is it not?
No, that's the
you
intro
sure?
to Pulse of the Maggots.
Is it fucking really?
Yeah.
Which one is this?
You can't play any music on a podcast, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, just in case licensing gets.
Well, in that case, then, yep, I'm so good at doing what I do.
Yeah, that's a song halfway through Volume 3, I think, or Iowa.
Yeah, they've got like an opening track in this though that is like just that. And
Execute
then,
it's called, I think. This album.
yes,
Yeah.
and then it
Into
goes
Gematria.
Yes, the
Which
Killing
one?
Gnome.
Gematria was one of the ones that were mid. It was up there a bit.
Okay, so I was actually thinking more of the like going into. I call it the Killing Name because that's the part that like sticks out in my head all the time. And I love that song. I thought it was a good way to sort of open the album, but then there are all of the singles kind of follow that, and then there's a little bit of a break where it gets a bit weaker, and then there's some sad songs, Snuff.
Stuff we'll get to in a sec, yeah.
Yeah, okay, we'll cross that in a minute. So we may as well talk about the rest of them. Dead Memories.
Dead Memories, that song.
Fucking, yep, I totally agree with you.
Music video is fucking incredible as well.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
So good.
I totally agree with you. Do you know what? It's not even like a particularly powerful song as such, is it?
No.
It's just that
It's just, everything falls into the right place with it, I
it
find.
fucking does. That is the perfect way of putting it, my friend. Thank you.
I would say that.
I was really struggling to find the words. I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this.
Corey's fucking vocals on it, dude, is so good. The drumming's great. Each member shines. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Yeah,
I
so
like that.
that's definitely my favourite song. So I'll go for the main song most people say when they think of this album, Psychosocial.
See, I just don't. I don't attribute that to the top of the album. I really don't. I like it. I love it, but
I would, yeah, I know I probably still do, but that's because the masses do. If you put out a poll to 100 Slipknot fans, you say, name a song from this, probably 70% would say Psychosocial.
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the main reason that I like that song is just purely for the instrumental breakdown. I fucking love that shit, man. Like,
Yeah.
And the video as well. The video is generally it's kind of boring, but the one part where I think it's Sid's mask, I'm not too sure, where he spins around and his eyes are lighting up and shit. That's incredible. But yeah, so for me though, I like the song. I love it. I just don't. Perhaps it is because it's the one that everyone talks about. But
It's the weakest out of the best.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I was just about to say, for whatever reason, I couldn't even really tell you what the reasons are, but for whatever reason, I prefer Sulphur.
Absolutely, by a mile. I love Psychosocial. I've got quite a attachment to it because both times I've seen them at Download. So I've seen them play it. So in 2009 I missed Psychosocial, I believe. Or at the
But
time,
it started
wasn't
fucking
notable.
raining.
This was 2013.
Yeah.
So it was pissing it down all day. It stopped before Slipknot started.
Yeah, and it was clear. It was virtually clear.
And then, as they say, and the rain will kill us all. Both Download 2013 and 2015, it's thrashed it down within 5 seconds. Either side of those vocals.
Yeah.
No joke. Thrash it down. Like if you look up, I think it's 2015. If you look up the weather that year, and you see there's a picture, and it looks amazing. It's kind of like it's got a dusky colour to it because it was getting dark, and it's just the rain thrashing down. But you didn't notice it was raining because you're in a crowd and you're going nuts. All right, you can feel like a bit of rain, and then as soon as the crowd split at the end of the show, you're fucking drenched within minutes, like to the bone. But yeah, so I've got a connection with that. It's a great song live. That's why it's still up there. If it wasn't such a great song live, it probably wouldn't be in the top. But yeah, great song. But Sulphur.
Sulphur, man. Fucking
Sulphur is touching Dead Memories of how good it is. Right?
Okay, fair enough.
Right.
I didn't quite expect that.
Yeah, I would say so. It's not there.
There is still a very clear line for me.
Yeah,
between
okay.
the two songs. Like, it's very easy for me to make that decision.
Right.
Like,
I would choose Dead Memories every time. But no, I think there's times where I've contemplated it and I'm gone, what song is better? But it's always Dead Memories. But
Yeah.
Sulphur, no, it's such. As soon as you go into it, boom,
it's straight away just kicks you in the fucking nuts, doesn't it? Like, and that's what I love about it as well. But that's also why I like songs like Butcher's Hook, which is the only other one that I've noted that we haven't spoken about in any great detail yet. And to be fair, I don't think we'll really be able to because you probably don't know it by name.
What's that? Sorry,
Butcher's Hook.
no.
Right. Okay. So we won't go too much into that. But yeah, that's another one off the album that I feel like deserves to be held in a similar light to the singles.
Butcher's Hook.
Yeah,
Right.
it ties everything together for me. There's a little bit of everything on the album. Like Snuff is powerful as fuck.
So before we go to that, so I didn't really get what you said. What were your thoughts on Sulphur? I know you said it's not as high as Dead Memories.
Not as high as Dead Memories. I definitely prefer it to Psychosocial, and it just kicks you in the nuts straight away. That's what I fucking love.
Really
about
intense,
it.
yeah.
And Joey's drumming in it is just sick as fuck, man.
Absolutely. So before we get into Snuff, there's 2 songs that aren't actually on the album, but they are bonus tracks. Now that is the Bloodstone mix of Vermilion 2, Part 2.
Yes.
I love it. I think I prefer it to the original Volume 2 version, Vermilion Part 2.
Wow.
There's just one particular like keyboard or piano bit in the middle. Just sounds fucking great.
I love the fact that
little tiny thing.
the vocals that he did for both, obviously, because I'm pretty sure it's the same. I loved, obviously, when you listen to Vermilion Part 1, you think like, fuck me, that is a powerful song. But he's still really like giving it his all, singing and stuff. The first time I ever heard is Vermilion Part 2 the acoustic sort of version, like the soft
one, yeah.
Yeah. The first time I heard that, I got goosebumps because I was like, fuck, this has gone beyond like being a powerful song. This is now haunting. Like,
Yeah.
And that's what I really liked about it. But for me, I can't get into the mix.
No?
I can't.
Fair enough.
I don't know why. There's nothing particularly wrong with it either. I just can't get into it. And that's one of my noted... I actually haven't written it down, but that is one of my weaker ones on the album.
Okay.
Again, I know it's a bonus. I just...
Yeah, I wouldn't say it really counts as in terms of a rating because it's not part of the album. We're rating the album as released. The bonus tracks are different.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to lower or heighten my view of it on these 2 songs. But the other soft song is Till We Die. That is haunting.
Yeah.
Now this is another one where I've got a very strong emotional connection to this song. So Solensphere 2011, Slipknot headlined.
Yeah.
Earlier on in the day, we had a 2-minute silence at 2 o'clock for number 2, Paul Gray. And this was their first UK show after Paul Gray's death. Now, I'm not a massive fan of Paul Gray. I'll rephrase that. I am a massive fan of Paul Gray because he was a great bassist in Slipknot, but I don't have like an attachment. I didn't really know Slipknot too well when he died. I knew of them enough, but it's not like I was with the Rev or Chester Bennington. Not anywhere near. I didn't have that love for Paul Gray. I focused on other members like Jim Root. So they at the end of the set, this was played through the speaker, the PA, the whole song. They still play it at the end of each set now, but they play like 20 seconds of it and cut it, which is really enraging. They played it through the set.
That's a fucking dick tease.
Yeah, they played it through the PA at the end of the set, and all the members, this show, they were back in their boiler suits and all that kind of stuff. Apart from Cortez was wearing jeans for some reason, fuck knows, I don't know.
What?
I think so. Pretty sure that was the case anyway. That may be a different show.
Just got to be different, don't you, mate?
Yeah. So they played it through the set. They brought out Paul Gray's bass and his mask and his boiler suit on like a thing, so it stood up.
Yeah.
And
that must have been fucking powerful.
that was powerful. What hit it properly for me, this is the first time I heard the song as well. So what hit it for me is when Joey went up to, like, they're taking photos and stuff, Joey went up to the stand with the mask and the suit and just fell to his knees. And you could see, like, in the posture when he was shaking, you could tell he was crying. You can't see tears because he's got a mask on, but you could just tell he was hugging it and crying. And I burst out crying, real as fuck. So intense. So I've got a massive love for that song. Aside from that, it's a really good song anyway. But moving on to the final song we're going to talk about, which is Snuff.
Yeah.
Now, thoughts on it now?
I was thinking about this earlier. It's quite interesting for me because we talk about a lot of songs which were written before something. So I mean, even earlier in the podcast, we were talking about the last Linkin Park album before Chester died. It's another case of the first time I listened to the song when he's still alive and stuff. It's kind of like, wow, that's a sad song. It's only when you could see the ripple effect that Paul Gray dying actually had on the rest of the band and stuff. It did kind of hinder their ability to make music. I think it kind of struck them in a really bad way. But it's when you listen to that song again after knowing everything that they've been through and think, shit, man. It's almost... It's scary. It's almost like a premonition. Like,
Weird you mentioned that. I've never, not even slightly correlated to Paul.
I don't. This is the thing. I listen to it now and I can't help but think of Paul a little bit, but that's mostly because I think that Corey's played acoustic versions of the song on his own on stage in tribute to him. So that's probably, yeah.
Are they being tribute to Paul?
I'm fairly certain I saw a video of, it looked like he was in like a download style tent.
He's played it at download as well, yeah, acoustically.
Yeah, and he was on his own on the stage with an acoustic guitar, that was it. And yeah, he played the song then, and he was really cut up about it and stuff, so whether or not he actually vocalised that he was dedicating it to Paul in that particular instance or not is something I don't know. But I have a feeling that while he was playing it, it was very, very fresh and raw in his mind. So there is, like, I do naturally a little bit, but for the best part of it, even after, when he first died, and I listened to that song again afterwards, I didn't think about it that way, because I'd known it as a song that Paul Gray helped write and performed, and so to me it was just kind of like, no.
That's fair. Currently, at this moment in time, I really like the song, but it took me a long time to like it. Now I hate making the comparison of Slipknot and Stone Sour. They're two separate bands. Yes, they at the time had two of the same members in both bands, but I tried to keep them separate. However, when they released this song, me and many others, probably thousands upon thousands of others, just thought, this is Stone Sour. This is not a Slipknot song. It doesn't belong with Slipknot. This is just not right. We saw this completely soft vocals. You didn't really feel like there was much of the rest of the band in there, apart from the odd member, like Stone Sour. So Stone Sour has it's a five-member band, I believe, maybe six.
What's that? Corey Taylor, a little bit of Jim Root.
Formerly, yeah. So it was just very, I just didn't like it. I could not get into it. People were saying the same things I was saying. It's just too Stone Sour-y.
Yeah.
And then I saw a particular interview, I think, or maybe just some more comments where someone said, look, you need to look at it separately and realise if you take away the fact it's Slipknot, it's a really fucking good song, and that's what kind of got me into more liking it. Yeah.
Not actually a bad way of looking at it, really. Like, if you just sort of forget who it is that's actually singing it and just listen to the song.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to do that, but in this case, it worked. I wouldn't say they've got better soft songs, Vermilion, Till We Die.
Yeah, for sure. It is just a very powerful song. It's quite weird to think about. Like, I've read his autobiography, or the closest thing that you could call it to an autobiography. It's really more just about him explaining why it's okay to do whatever the fuck you want in the world as long as you're not hurting people. So it's basically like a book on how to be a Satanist, essentially. But
it's one of 3 books now, I think.
Yes, I think he does have a third. I have both of those up there. A funny thing happened on the way down from heaven is about paranormal. Like about ghosts and shit like that, and that is actually worth a read. It is really interesting. It's just a different feel entirely. Like, if you've read Seven Deadly Sins, don't expect his second book to be anything like it, because it's not. So for me, when I was reading it, it was quite disappointing at first. It was only when I started like really getting into the stories that he's telling in it that you think like, oh, okay, yeah, this is fucking awesome. I actually rate him a lot as an author. He knows how to write, and he knows how to do it colloquially to a point where it's almost like you are just like listening to your granddad telling you stories or some shit like that. Like, he's just really good at it. Like, it's almost like you're there while he's writing it, kind of thing. And he's genuinely like just hearing the guy talk almost. So yeah, I forgot how I got onto the topic of his books in the first place. Yeah,
just how he is as a person.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. And yeah, it's a shame, really. It's a shame that they've gone in the direction that they have, and that Joey's no longer in the band. And
yeah, don't get me wrong. Jay Steinberg, blah blah blah. Jay from Slipknot, the drummer, he's doing really well. To be fair, he's great, but Joey's probably my favourite drummer alive right now. So that's that. I feel like whilst these singles raise the album to what it is, and they're fucking great,
it doesn't smash it.
Now, back on your other point a second ago as well, because obviously we'll mention the thing that is what it is of Point 5, the Grey Chapter, their newest album. We're never going to review that on here because I've reviewed it. I've said what I thought about it publicly before, and I gave that a 4 out of 10 at the beginning.
I point blank refused to listen to it. If it was a case of carry on doing this podcast and listen to that album, or don't carry on doing this podcast, I'm sorry.
You would fucking listen to it.
I would not.
Why not?
I would have my cake and eat it. I would come onto the podcast and make it look like I knew what I was talking about, but I would just slate every single fucking song on the album.
There's some good songs.
I don't care.
Goodbye.
I don't.
It's a very nice tribute to Paul Gray.
Goodbye is
Devil and I
what
is
I would say
fucking amazing
to
song.
that album.
Yeah,
before
okay.
throwing it out the window.
Fucking harsh, man. I'm not saying harsh, like it's your opinion, that's fine. But
I couldn't get into it. I listened to it all once, and even then, it was I would listen to like halfway through a song and be like, "This one sucks as well." Next, I just couldn't do it.
yeah,
Couldn't do it. It
there's
doesn't
some
have the
good songs
feeling
on
there.
there.
It does not have the feeling there for me at all.
Obviously, we're not going to review it.
Yes, we're not going to review
I
it on this
wouldn't review it.
podcast. Let's
I
not
would
do
have
it
given
now.
it 4 out of 10, and but I will say that Goodbye is a good fitting tribute. Devil and I is amazing, and Custer is great live. Okay, so if these singles weren't there, it would be just as bad, maybe, as the other one. Maybe a 5 out of 10. Oh, even then, my review, I struggled on this one quite a lot on my actual rating out of 10. We don't do 0.5s on Deciphered, it's whole numbers.
Yes.
I decided that I was stuck in between the middle, but I thought this number was too high as a rating, and this number was too low, so I really couldn't decide. I really wanted to go for a 0.5, but we don't do that, so I have stuck with the lower of the two, and that's a 6 out of 10.
Mad. Surprisingly, even though it's fair to say that I probably rate the album a little bit more than you, I'm actually not that far off.
No.
I've given it a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Purely because it's not a smashing album all the way through. Purely because I can't even remember all of the fucking songs on it and started quoting ones from previous albums. It's just, yeah, there is something missing. There is something missing with it. Like, and I respect other people's opinion. It's not what you come to expect of Slipknot at that point in their career.
No.
But that said, I appreciate how far they've come as a band. I appreciate how far they've come individually. And I like I said, I don't think there's a song on there that I truly detest. There are songs on there that I wouldn't choose to listen to all that much. And for that reason, it has to come down a little bit. I struggled as well. I thought 6 or 7. I couldn't decide.
There you go.
I went for the higher of the two purely because I do think that it's underrated by the fans.
I agree on that, definitely, but I just feel like a 7, that's 3 marks off a perfect album. And
it's not quite that, which is
not.
definitely the thought process
It's
that I went through.
less than half of the songs are amazing. I can't give it a 7 out of 10.
Fair
but
enough.
those songs that are amazing
Are amazing.
are fucking amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
So before we go to our outro, I just want to say 2 things. I've been hearing that when we close the podcast, it will stop for them like 30 seconds to 60 seconds before we actually stop. And then it's not until... So if you're watching live now, when we finish it, it will just cut for them a minute before. Not really sure what's going on there.
Well, there is
Probably
a
about 30
delay.
seconds.
There
There's
is
a
a
delay,
delay, so
but it should show them the end of the video before it cuts off for them. It doesn't. So apologies for that. If you want to see the last 30 seconds, you just click on the video once it's uploaded properly. And yeah, mainly thank you very much for watching again. So next week or next time on the podcast, what we're going to be doing is our topic is going to be very different to usual. We are going to be discussing non-metal or rock bands. So bands or artists, should we say, because a lot of them aren't bands that we love. And we'll discuss our thoughts on them. So it's going to be slightly different, but we'll talk about pop.
I am going to spam the fuck out of the 80s and the 70s, and you people are going to hate it.
I'm going to talk about a lot about Shania Twain. So yeah, it's going to be like pop, country, rap, anything like
Shania
that.
Twain's not metal?
I know, crazy, isn't it?
Fuck me.
And
When did she change?
the next album.
Yes.
So as we mentioned before, Rob started his new job this week, or last week. So we're doing albums that we know quite well anyway, right? I haven't told him what it is yet. I was going to go for something completely different. Then I thought, I don't know that album. That's fine. I don't know what Rob thinks about it, but I don't want to ask him because then it reveals what it is. So next week we will be reviewing The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I went something slightly different from Slipknot, but obviously still metal. That is that. And also it kind of fits in with a lot of people like, oh, fuck MCR, they're not metal. So Next week's episode is not about metal. They are obviously metal, or at least emo, as they were called.
As a fitting tribute,
apparently...
next week's episode will probably be called That's Not Metal.
Oh, yes. Oh, the big reveal has been revealed too early.
That's not metal.
We'll go into the story of that next week as well.
Yes, we will.
But thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Ta-ta!
Bye!